begin your speaking test. First, what is your favorite subject?
So for me, math is one of my favorite subjects as a fundamental component of the national curriculum. It offers a basis for comprehending several concepts in science, engineering, economics, and numerous other subjects. We develop our logical reasoning, problem-solving abilities, and methodical approach to solving challenging problems through the studies of math. Mathematics is more than simply numbers. It's also about relationships, trends, and using quantitative analysis to make sense of the world around us.
So, what do you find most challenging in your study?
Addressing low motivation is a significant hurdle during my academic pursuits. Absence of sufficient internal drive to excel can make managing the substantial workload seem daunting. I always feel fatigued and stressed due to an overwhelming workload. I mean, there are so many assignments and I have always under a lot of pressure from deadlines, find a subject uninteresting or lacking enjoyment, and I worry about failure and struggling to leverage acquired knowledge effectively.
So, what major will you study in university?
So, university study of economics is something that interests me. This major allows me to make the most of my fascination in with understanding how societies allocate resources and make decisions. Additionally, studying economics equips me with valuable skills in information retention, enabling me to grasp intricate economic theory and models. Moreover, the field offers opportunities for autonomy, encouraging me to explore various economic phenomena and analyze them independently, which I find intellectually stimulating and rewarding.
Okay, moving on to part two. Now, I would like you to describe a period of time in your studies that was the most difficult for you. You should say when it was, why was it hard, and what you were doing at the time, and whether you felt you were successful in overcoming the difficulties.
Preparing for the high school admission exams were undoubtedly one of the most challenging periods of my academic journey. The pressure to excel and secure admission to a prestigious institution was intense. I found myself immersed in a rigorous study regimen. Everything seemed like a nightmare to me at that moment. Being a student in Class EK 20 is my aspiration. Unfortunately, the school implemented a new enrollment regime at that time that exempted students with an IELTS certifications from the foreign language exam. Since I was ignorant of the test at that time, I didn't get the desired results, even though many other students did. I'm feeling really anxious and depressed. Nevertheless, if I don't attempt, even a tiny chance disappears. During that time, I had to govern my study schedule meticulously, allocating specific time slots for each subject and topic. There was a vast batch of material to cover, ranging from math, literature, and English. Ensuring that I had all the necessary information at my fingertips was crucial, and I spent countless hours poring over textbook, practice tests, and review materials. Despite my best efforts, I found myself grappling with feelings of uncertainty and self-doubt. The high-stakes nature of the exam made me prone to anxiety, and I often worried about whether I was adequately prepared to succeed. However, I knew that giving up was not an option, and I persevered through the challenges with determination and resilience. Finally, I conquered my dream on my own. Getting ready for engineering exam taught me valuable lessons about discipline, time management, and the importance of the perseverance in the face of adversity. While the process was undoubtedly difficult, It ultimately gave me the confidence I needed to overcome obstacles and accomplish my goals.
How are education priorities today different from those in the past?
In a fast-changing world we are in today, education priorities have transformed significantly. In our current societies, there's a growing emphasis on empowering students to take charge of their learning journey. Unlike the past, where education was often more teacher-led, modern education prioritizes self-study. Secondly, there's a shift away from the standardized system of education towards recognizing and accommodating diverse learning needs. In the past, education was often bound to rigid assessment methods. Today, there's a greater acknowledgement of individuals' differences. For instance, teachers can give students marks based on continuous assessment, such as projects or coursework, instead of formal examinations. Compared to the past, education had also involved the use of modern technology, such as computers and other gadgets that were not present in the past.
So, what problems are there in schools' curriculum today?
In today's educational landscape, several issues exist within the school curriculum. One prominent problem is the lack of relevance and practicalities in some curriculum areas. The knowledge and abilities that students need in the real world differ greatly from what they study in school, even though the conventional topics are still crucial. Furthermore, there's a tendency towards an overcrowded curriculum where educators feel pressure to cover an extensive range of topics within limited timeframes. This can lead to superficial learning and a lack of depth in understanding. Hence, it is essential to demystify the curriculum by prioritizing core concepts and pivotal skills, ensuring that students have a thorough understanding of fundamental principles rather than simply skimming the surface of various topics.
So, how well do you think schools should prepare young people for working life?
School should also be the avenue to prepare us to enter into another chapter, thrive in the professional world. For instance, school should incorporate more learning experiences such as internships, apprenticeships, and project-based learning that simulate real-world work environments. Moreover, school should administer career readiness programs that provide students with essential skills such as communication, problem solving, teamwork, and financial understanding. These skills are crucial for success in any career and should be integrated into the curriculum from an early age. Additionally, schools should strive to create an educational utopia where students are exposed to a wide range of career options and have the opportunities to explore their interests and passions by providing access to vocational training and career counseling services. So what do you find most challenging in your study?
I guess what really troubles me when I'm studying is my lack of concentration. For example, doing homework often takes me 2 to 3 hours. It's not like it is so hard to solve the problems, but I often find myself scrolling on my phone, getting distracted with push notifications, text messages, etc., that I end up just losing focus on my studies.
Question number one, what is your favorite subject?
So, to be honest, this question is quite a toughie since I'm not particularly interested in any subject. However, if I have to choose one that I'm most willing to learn, it might well be English, as I don't have to calculate or make the most of my mind to understand all the complicated terms and concepts. After all, English is just about learning a new language, which is much easier and interesting.
So what major will you study in university?
Currently, even though I'm already in grade 11, I'm still quite clueless about what I'm going to study in university. However, as far as I'm concerned, economics is now like one of the most popular majors in my country, and my cousins also follow the major. So I think I'll probably take it into consideration.
So you describe a period of time in your studies that were the most difficult for you. You should say when it was, why was it hard, what you were doing at that time, and whether you felt you were successful in overcoming the difficulties.
Modern education is now a subject of considerable debate, and one of the problems that people talk a lot about these days is the teaching syllabus. First of all, I think it is believed that the teaching program today is not engaging enough, and they fail to put theories into practice, thereby making it hard for students to understand the abstract and complicated concepts, which of course would lead to the disinterest amongst them. Besides, I reckon that the modern curriculum prioritizes quantity over quality. For instance, youngsters have to memorize a bunch of information in such a short time so as to perform well in exams, which in another word means they have to cram for the test. And this in turn can make children be prone to bad habits, namely rote learning, not having a real insight into the subject. So, over the course of my life until now, there have certainly been times when I was in difficulties with my studying. However, I guess the toughest phase of my studies was when I had to prepare myself for the entrance exam to my dream high school. And it was Laogai High School for Gifted Students, a top school here in my city. And many excellent students long to get admission to the school. So, of course, I was under great pressure, given how I was not even good at my major, which is English. So not only did I have to study English, learning how to write an essay, vocabulary, grammars, but I also had to revise for the math test as well as memorizing all 10 literary analysis essays. Everything was so overwhelming for me that I bursted out crying at some point, and I was in total despair, especially after taking the mock test in which my grades were quite depressing, and I couldn't concentrate on my studying for 3 odd days, if I'm not mistaken. However, at that time, I decided to confide in my mother and my close friends. As they were so sympathetic and supportive of me, I finally regained my confidence and was more determined than ever to get into my dream school. So, as you can probably guess, I put my heart and soul into cramming for the test, burning the midnight oil almost every day for like 2 weeks straight. So the day finally came, and even though I was a bit nervous at first, I soon calmed myself down and felt quietly confident in the exam room. After finishing the test, I was greatly relieved, and it was like all the stress from my daily life just melted away. I was pacified, and my mind was completely at ease. And what's more, I also realized that there would always be people by my side, giving me strength to move on and go through difficulties in life. I remember being so grateful for my parents and friends that right after the test, I called them immediately and gave them some sweet hugs when I hung out with them just one day later. And that's it.
So let's move to part three. How are education priorities today different from those in the past?
In a fast changing world we are in today, education priorities have transformed as well. So, in our current society, education opens more opportunities for a wider skill set that were not offered in the past. For example, colleges and universities have more specific majors or courses that are geared towards different future career aspirations as compared to before. Education has also leveraged modern technologies such as computers and other gadgets that were not present in the past, and this is clearly helpful in the teaching and learning process. Moreover, these days, I feel like people are trying to pursue higher education, and even adults are going towards adult education. Perhaps because people have now acknowledged how imperative education is.
So, what problems are there in school's curriculum today? How do you think? How well do you think schools should prepare young people for working life?
Well, I believe schools play a crucial role in preparing us for the next chapter of our life, the working life. Indeed, schools should provide us knowledge and instructions on different subjects, teaching us some basic skills such as reading or writing, thereby helping us sharpen our critical thinking, ingenuity, as well as analytical abilities,
Hence,
landing a more rewarding job in the future. Moreover, I feel like school should be a place where we can improve our interpersonal skills. What I mean by this is that schools should create an environment where students are able to interact with each other, work with each other, socialize, and form new connections, together with sustaining good relationships, which can come in handy later on in their life.